Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order the February 13th Library Board of Directors meeting. In attendance, we have Geraldo Williams, Patsy Brescia, Alex Knopp, Janie Williams, and Laurel Peterson. First item on the agenda is the acceptance of the January 9th, 2025 minutes. Can I have a motion to do that? And then
Hold on 1 second, because there's an error on there on page 7, paragraph 7, page 7, paragraph 8, where it mentions talking about me, but they have he. I am not a he, I'm a she. So I would like that corrected, please. I'm not a he, she.
Oh, are we sure it's not Geraldo or
No, it was
is it
me.
you? Okay.
They said Mrs. because they were talking about me.
Oh, okay. I also have a couple of edits. So on on page 5, no, page 3 of the minutes, I'm sorry. Just for clarity in the first two paragraphs, so Ms. Noor stated that the governance committee met with Ms. Peterson, sent a copy of the charter revision. Can you please add at the last meeting? Because actually Laura was not present at the last meeting. So at the last meeting, period. These were comments and discussions on the document at that time. And then in the following paragraph, we say Dawn, but can we put in her full name, Dawn Lavelle, Lavalle, of the Connecticut State Library Board? But just if anyone's reading that, it'll just be clearer there.
Yeah. And on paragraph 7, it says Miss Williams repeated that shouldn't be he, should be she, was the committee chair. Geraldo was not on the board then. So that needs to be corrected.
Are there any other corrections? Okay, so would someone like to move acceptance of the minutes
I move the minutes be accepted with the corrections.
with the corrections? Second? Does anyone second? Can I second? All in favor?
Aye.
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 I need
Anyone
to
opposed?
I need to abstain. I wasn't here.
Okay. Are there any public comments?
No public comments.
And okay. So we'll have reports now. Geraldo, would you like to fill everybody in on the cafe?
Yes. So this is the update on the cafe. We had the
Warning. Power outage. Base station on backup battery.
sorry about that. We had the RFP for the library cafe, and that closed on January 28th. We did not get any submissions, but in the period since the closing, we have had two parties that have expressed interest in understanding about the cafe, and they think that they may have interest in operating the cafe. We have a meeting scheduled for tomorrow to meet with the two candidates separately to give them, go over the issues of the cafe, the opportunities, etc. And we will update you on what what we did at the meeting and any new developments with that. But we have 2 people that are interested, or 2 groups. Are there any questions?
No, but I think that
Well-
is really super exciting news. So,
Yeah.
Um,
And-
and
And both parties have experience at least in the food service business. One is a caterer and one operating a place in a public area.
I do have a question just on procedure. So with these 2 new people, would their interest be monitored under the city's purchasing?
I would assume it would be just like,
Yeah.
my thought is once we speak to them and we're having this discussion, we'll go back to the city because they will have to meet the city requirement.
Okay, all right.
And if both of them are interested, I don't know, we'll speak to the city to see if they want to do it as an RFP or what would be
Yeah.
the best way to do it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, back to you, Moina.
okay, so we have the library walkthrough scheduled for February 22nd, and I wanted to see if, I know I heard from Janie, but are others available to come?
I responded.
Yes, right. Patsy did respond. Right.
I'm sorry, what's the purpose? I seem to have missed out on that.
So I would say about 6 to 8 months ago, we had a walkthrough of the library. You might recall
Right.
that. So there have been a few physical changes. And so I thought, it would be a good time now to walk through, to look through the changes, to look through our punch like items list uh, and walk through the library to see, what has been accomplished, because there actually has been quite a bit accomplished
Yeah.
since our last walkthrough, and just to make sure that we're all kind of in agreement about like what are some other things that we need to address.
Okay. All right. I should be able to make that date.
You mentioned
Um,
Belden, but are we gonna walk through South Norwalk too?
So I mean, I thought we could pick another date for that.
But we
And-
haven't done South Norwalk, have we, we
No,
did,
no,
we did
we
Belden,
do
but not,
South. Yeah, now we also need to schedule for South Norwalk because I'm hoping that, I mean, if everybody wants to do both on the same day, that would be fine. I think maybe it'd be a little bit, a less, if we picked another date for South Norwalk, another Saturday. Does anyone have an opinion on either way? I mean,
I
Go
think
ahead,
if we're
Patsy.
already together and nobody has anything that's hindering them, I think we should do it on the same day.
I'd like to get it over with
Okay,
also.
okay, sounds good. We'll do it on the same day then. Let the record show that Mary Mann has joined the meeting. Patsy, do you have your hand up for something else?
No, I don't mean to. Sorry.
Okay, so can I get a show of hands of how many people have seen the email that I sent a little earlier today from and it includes the letter from Tom Livingston?
Hi, honey.
I did.
But,
I'm in the library board meeting at like 9 o'clock. Can I call you after my 9 o'clock, which is okay. Yeah.
Mary, did you see the letter? I'll read it here just so that, no. And Patsy, have you seen the letter?
Not a letter, no.
Okay, so I am going to
Maria, do you want me to see if I can pull it up?
Yeah, that would be great.
Hold on. 1 second. This was charter revision. Can you see it?
Yes.
It's a little small on my screen, but maybe I should make my.
Let me see if I can. Let me go back in. I'll see if I can make it a little bit bigger.
I don't know. Maybe it's me. I mean, I know what it says because so everybody.
It's tiny.
Okay.
Yeah, it is tiny.
Let me go
Yeah,
back.
you gotta enlarge that.
Yes, ma'am.
It's not that long, Moira. Maybe it's easier to just read it.
Okay. I mean, that's what I was gonna do initially, but maybe I just read it. Sorry, I have to get my thing up. Okay, so okay, so this is the email that I wrote to the board, and it includes Tom's email to me. Dear board members, at our last meeting, the majority of the board voted that we take our draft of possible charter revision changes to corporation.
Here it
Pardon
is.
me? Sorry, did someone say something?
No, it just came up on the screen. That's why I
Okay.
said, there it is.
That we take our draft of possible charter revision changes to Corporation Council before sending them to the Charter Revision Committee. I have been in touch with Tom Livingston. Here is his response, and just FYI, Steve Mendick is the lawyer for the Charter Revision Committee, and Mario is the city's Corporation Counsel. So Tom writes, Moina, I've reached out to Steve Mednick and Mario and also spoken with the mayor. At this point, we don't see a compelling reason to change the appointment process. The library has a sizable budget in excess of $4 million and is managed and operated by city employees. For these and other reasons discussed in the last charter revision, we think it appropriate that the mayor continue to appoint the person responsible for managing it. I know this is not the answer you wanted, and you are free to make your case to the Charter Revision Commission. If that is what the board decide, needless to say, we would not support a change. And I said yeah. So that is what the opinion of the city on that matter. So I guess we should discuss and vote on whether to proceed with this or not. Does anyone have any comments or discussion on the matter?
Well, my comment is, I know you said the report, but I said this last meeting. There's a difference between appoint and hire. So why did you use appointed instead of hire? Because it's a total different meaning. And so that's my question, that maybe you would ask them, why use appoint instead of hire? Because the person is hired, it's not appointed. It's two different meanings.
Yeah, I mean, others may have more clarification on this. All I can say is that the word appoint is, you know, the
Yeah,
word.
so that's why I'm saying why.
It's not just for us. Yeah, it's for every single position. They use the word appoint in the charter, so. um, Is there, I mean, if the city is not in favor of it, I mean, I think at this point, you know, and if, we could proceed, I mean, with the charter revision committee, if there's consensus on the board around that, or we could just kind of say we're not going to move on with this. Mary. I
You're on
can't
mute,
hear you.
Mary.
Can't hear you.
Mute.
Yeah.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
I would in actuality like for it to be changed. But one of the things that I heard, I haven't seen the letter, but it said the attorney said, needless to say, we will not change our opinion. So it doesn't matter what kind of argument we give. They've kind of sort of made their decision. And we're not going to be able to change it. So that's my thought on it. But absolutely, I would like to see the board have, the authority to make decisions in regards to who our director would be.
Are there any other?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'll speak to the issue. It is obvious that the director is a city employee. And so for us to take the stance that we hire or appoint, whichever word you want to use, a city employee is not common. And so I believe the process the last time around worked very well for us as a board. We participated, we interviewed, and we gave the mayor uh, uh, recommendations of 3 opportunities, and he made a decision. And I think we were all very happy with the decision. So I don't see I don't see it as a strong point for us to pursue this argument that we want the power to do it. We are a public department. We are not a state library. And so when it goes to the council, it's also going to be discussed and voted on any potential change by the council as well.
And I agree with what Patsy just said. I totally agree.
I would just like to add that I also actually agree with Patsy and Janie that the process we had was a good process. I think but it was not a process that was defined. It was just custom of what had been done. So now with the change says that the change that happened in 2023 says that the mayor will appoint, it made it clear, like it's no longer custom. It's now the mayor will appoint the library director with confirmation of the Common Council. I'm not sure if confirmation is the exact word, but so now the library has no stated role or there's no defined role. So if we have a mayor who keeps up with the custom, then they will do that. But if we get a mayor who says, I'm not interested in having the board participate, I want to hire this person, and if the board doesn't like them, then it's too bad. That's okay now. That is because we have no stated role in the hiring of the library director. So, so, so that I think is the issue that is, to me, like the one, we're not talking about this mayor, we're not talking about this director, we're talking about, um, you know, what will happen in the, in the future library. So go ahead. Patsy, sorry, I saw that your hand was up.
Oh, no, I didn't. I'm sorry. I hate this Zoom meeting. I just hate them. Okay, sorry.
Sherelle.
Question, I thought, Laurel, you can correct me, that last time that we did put that in there, that the mayor and the board would work in conjunction.
That's from, I was just gonna say the same thing. You took the words out of my mouth.
Isn't that, I thought that we did,
That's what
I
you
thought
said.
we had that worded.
Mhm.
So sorry, Laurel, do you want to, I mean, that is what we propose.
Okay.
And
Oh.
they're saying, go ahead.
Oh, I just thought it was in the charter like that. I remember there being
No, that
cooperation in
is-
the charter.
The whole thing is that there was nothing in the charter about the appointment of the library director. So that is why it was, that was just custom of how it was done. So, so then, people thought it shouldn't just be based on custom, it should be like spelled out. So the in conjunction was our proposed language as far. Is Alex there?
Yeah, I'm
Um,
here.
Now, I just want to say one thing, as I repeated previously, and I keep repeating this, that was how it was done. We work in conjunction with the mayor. He sent us the candidates, we interviewed them, and we picked the top
Great.
candidates, and we send them to them. So that's collaboration. He may make the final decision, but we were in the process. So I'm not understanding what you mean. I guess I'm
saying like
We're in
before,
process.
at that time, that was just done customarily. It wasn't.
No, it was not done customarily. We did that every single time we had a hire a
But I think
candidate.
what she's saying, that they were just doing it, there was no written,
No requirements to do
no
it.
anything that's written in there.
No, there was
Not
nothing
part
written,
of the
but
board,
like I said, it was happening. It's not that it wasn't happening. It was happening. Even though it wasn't written, it was happening. So
And
I
that's
guess I'm not
good.
understanding why it's such a thing. And we put that in there. And so I don't know what the problem is. I guess I'm not understanding what the problem is, because we had that, we did it regardless whether it was in the charter or not. We did it.
But
Period.
my thoughts on that is that if we don't have it defined, then you could have some new mayor come in. We're not talking about the current mayor. We're saying as a standard. If
Mhm.
we don't have something saying that we're going to that the board should participate in that, and if you believe that the manner in which it was done is a good way to do it, isn't it possible to just take that and define that as the process? What we would like to use as a process. If another mayor came in and just decided, I don't care what you think, I'm just doing this, I'm going to hire my niece. They would be able to do that, right? So I think it's, if, there are two different discussions. One is exactly what you had proposed. And then one is having a standard, but using something more, closer to what was used the last time, and what you're saying, Jen, is that has been the standard, that has been the process that has been used for some time now. So if it sounds good, I would suggest using that and documenting that as the process. If the mayor went along with that, and he seemed like he thought it was a good way. So that's my thought.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask for this.
Moina, are they saying they're not, I'm sorry, I know I'm not part of the board, but I'm confused now. Are they saying they're not supporting the in consultation portion?
I think they just want to leave it as it is. You know, right now, there's a section, I guess, in the charter where it says, you know, appointments made by mayor and the library, city department appointments, and we're now in that. And it basically says the mayor will hire the library or appoint the library director. I don't know if with common council approval, with common council, whatever. So that's all it says now. So right now, like, it doesn't say, you know, it doesn't
Do-
say with the board.
Do we have what it actually says now, how it reads now? Laura, does she have that in her? She
That's what
worked
I
on
was
this.
looking for and I can't
Yeah.
find it.
Because,
I can-
you know, we need to have that in front of us, and that's what's so frustrating with these Zoom
Well,
meetings.
I mean, I can, hold on.
I'm looking to, Moina.
Um,
Okay, so
oh, this is, okay, go ahead, sorry.
sorry, what I have in front of me says, oh, hang on, it's long and I just lost it again.
I have,
Such
Yeah.
board may purchase, lease, or accept grounds and erect, lease, or occupy an appropriate building or buildings for the use of such library, appoint a library director and all necessary assistants and fix their compensation.
Is that in the city of Norwalk?
I think so. Section 11-33, powers and duties of trustees in municipalities.
No, that's not Norwalk.
here, let me
That's not
see if this
Norwalk?
is the one.
That's not the charter.
Hold
that's
on,
okay.
let's see.
That's a state,
Oh, that's the state one. Okay, sorry. I don't know. I've got so much junk here.
hold on, I will,
I think this is it. Um, so, 87-1, board establishment, purpose, and of membership. There is established a Norwalk Public Library Board, which shall make rules and regulations for the government of the Norwalk Public Library, branch libraries, and reading rooms, and shall have the care and supervision of the grounds, rooms, or buildings constructed, leased, given, or set apart to the Norwalk Public Library for library purposes. Said board shall consist of, hold on, I think this is, yeah, I'm sorry. Said board shall consist of 9 members, 5 of whom shall be appointed by the board, by the mayor with the approval of the common council, 2 of whom shall be appointed by the commissioners of the first district, and 2 of whom shall be appointed by the commissioners of the second district. You know what, I'm sorry, I just saw somewhere where,
I think it's a different section.
yeah, I'm sorry, I had it somewhere.
it's in the power, I think it's in the, I think it's in the mayor section.
It's actually some in two, but I can't honestly remember, and I don't have the charter in front of me, so.
Yeah, I thought that. There has the appointment of members, but I don't see the appointment of.
It's gotta be under the mayor's
Yeah.
powers.
It's
Yeah.
under probably
Okay.
I'm looking for it now to department heads. So, I just had this the other day, actually.
You know what, let me look in a different.
Okay, now.
Okay, so uh anyway, so we're not finding it right now.
It seems to me that to maintain a balance of power, the best thing to do would be to have it be cooperative between the board and the mayor. And then that way nothing gets out of control, right? You don't, as Geraldo said, end up with somebody appointing their niece. And the board can't do that either because you've got to check with the mayor. I don't know, my 2 cents.
Okay, well, after this meeting, I will find it. I will find what the charter says. I'm sorry, it's just, I think we're all looking like while we're, in a meeting, so it's more difficult. So, so you read what it has for the library, the duties of the library board, and it doesn't say anything about appointment, but in my recollection, the library director it's under a list of of department heads that the mayor is in charge of hiring. I just saw it the other day. And I can't find
Yeah,
it.
that's where it is, yeah.
So it's like, the directors for several different departments are placed under that list, and so is the library director, and it says the library director with common council approval. So I also think that, the board should have a role with the mayor in hiring a library director. That is for the reasons that Laurel stated, and I just think that it's important for that work to be done in collaboration and in partnership. And it has been, and it may very well continue to be if people continue the custom, but they don't have to now, so.
Got it. Found it.
Oh, did someone find it?
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Mary, you're talking to some little
But I'm
person
looking,
in your
I'm
world-
looking.
in your world. So let's.
Do you,
It's in
do you-
section 8.2. It says section 8.2. And it says add a list of other mayor level executive appointees. The library director is appointed by the mayor and the common council. And approved by the common council. That's in section 8.2, 8.2.
Thank you, Janie.
Moina,
Yes.
do you know when the Charter Revision Commission is going to take up this section of the charter?
Um, I don't know exactly when, no, but
Well,
still working.
because my idea is
Okay.
if there's time, you know, if you can find out when that's planned for, and if we have time to get the real facts in front of us and not what we think, but what is, that we have a better way of discussing it and maybe come up with some kind of a compromise. If there's time, you know,
I think
before
there is
that.
plenty, yeah, I think there is time. I mean, we could,
No, no, the attorney running this has an agenda, you know, that they should have laid out in front of them. So I don't know where it is on the agenda. And if there's time and we can rediscuss it next month or have a special meeting to discuss it, but that we have the real information in front of us.
okay. Well, I mean, now that we have Janie's found that section.
It's in two places in the charter. There are two references to it, as I recall, but I can't remember where exactly they are.
Hey, Janie, what section, like what chapter?
Well, I'm looking at this. I'm just looking at, I just Googled it and found that's what it said, but it didn't say what chapter. It just says section 8.2. Where it says the mayor level executive appointees. They would
Yes.
appoint a library director and it gets approved by the common council.
Laurel, you don't have that. You just have what the state said. You don't have the reference information in the charter.
I thought that I had copied it all out and I can't find the document. So I don't know what I did with it.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Let's see if I have it.
I mean, I think I don't know. I mean, would we not you know, after we've kind of put everything together, send a letter to Tyler Claiborne? He's running the committee and then he would share it with his committee. I mean, you know, Tom is aware of the pieces, and I mean, we have to understand that the city is not going to is according to his note, is not going to support the change. But you know, or at least as of now, I mean, maybe they will support it. You know, moving forward. So
It seems to me there's an argument to be made given the national discussion around information and access for balance of power.
I agree. So, so how about we have, I will find out when they're discussing this part of the charter. And then we can have a either you know, and accordingly, if we can look at everything once again at our next meeting, you know, what it currently says, and then, you know, if we agree or decide collectively that we want to send a letter to the Charter Revision Committee or Tyler Claiborne for their and for their consideration, then we can do that. Does that sound like a plan?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
The next steps, I'll find out, and then we'll move forward from there.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for your patience on that. Okay, so I don't know, it says treasurer, but I don't, do we have it? That's not for the foundation, so, okay. Moving on, library director, okay.
Good evening, everyone.
Evening.
We can smile now. We're off of that one. We'll get back on the other stuff later. Okay, so budget, we have some good news. Let me see if I can share my screen. This may be a little small. Is that a little bit better? Or can you see it at all?
Yeah, and this is the
This is for the capital budget?
capital budget.
Yes, ma'am. So it looks like we were approved for all of our requests. We have the main library ADA compliant door handles. We have the library van. Hoo, hoo, hoo.
Yay,
Yay, is right. The continuation of the Norwalk newspaper digitization project and the laptop vending machines. There's a contract, like every 5 to 6 years that they redo the vending machine and then we update the laptops. So this time around, I was talking to Lori today. We'll see if we want to add Macs. We've already added Macs to the desktops. So we'll see if we want to add Macs to the vending machine this time around, which I think is awesome. So I just wanted to show you that. And while we're here, I can show you also. Find it.
that's great. It looks like they also kind of did it for the EV van, which is great.
Which is awesome. Yeah. Hold on one second. Here we go. Let me share screen. And then I had sent a picture maybe last week. Of the new sliding doors. So they're pretty much finished. They're just working on the area above now. But these are working very well. So thanks to Neil at Guardian. It's great. So people don't have to pull the door open. If somebody has issues, with walking or they're in a wheelchair, they have two sliding doors. So happy to report that that capital project has been completed. Let's see. So I sent the draft confidentiality policy. I don't know.
Well, I have a question on the budget. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, on the newspaper digitalization, I thought we were done with it with one more year. It goes out that far?
It does. It goes, we do have this year and then we have one year following and then we're done.
It was like 5 years,
We
right?
did 5 years, yeah. They decided not to do it as in the
Yeah.
1 year, but to, yeah.
Yeah, well, I remember that part. And then also, this is not final. So what are the
Oh,
next,
yeah.
do you know what the steps are here? And the dates before they go before the rest of them?
Or that, yeah, hold on one second. I'll pull that up again. I'm sorry, I should have had that committed to memory. Am I still sharing screen?
No,
Oh, good, okay, give me 1 second. Capital, let me share screen.
March 4th. So is March 4th a public hearing or not?
Looks like It's with, yeah, Planning and Zoning Commission transmits its report with determination for capital budget items to the mayor. Let's see. Planning and zoning, so we did that on the department's request. And chief financial officer,
Yeah, so that was yesterday. So is this as of yesterday? Because if not, he could have made a change last night. So we don't have his report, so we can't assume that this is taking the next step.
So, well, I mean, they'll put that online soon, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Well,
tonight.
we need to
Midnight.
follow through and we need to know what it is, and if we need to be prepared to go and support these things, they're not automatic.
No, we'll keep an eye on it, definitely. No. Cheryl, how are we doing on the operating budget? What's happening?
so far I haven't seen it online, but according to Lamont, there hasn't been anything hasn't been cut yet.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah. Okay, so let me. All right, so the next, so we do, any other questions? I'm sorry. All right, so the next, I sent around the draft confidentiality policy and the draft homebound policy. And just, let's see, the confidentiality policy. So it was last updated by the board, 2017. And for that policy, we basically use the Connecticut State Statute, Section 1125, basically stating that we don't give out any information. These updates reflect the records we keep and the records we don't keep. For instance, when people log off of the computers, it erases their information. It doesn't store information that can be tracked to them. We also listed that our ILS, our integrated library system, which is ClearVit, they also have a clause in the contract that they have to protect the patron confidentiality, and they would have to alert us if they're required by court order to disclose any information. And so we, once everything is signed and we set the procedure, we'll let staff know that any request for information should go through the director or through the supervisors. And then the supervisors will look to make sure, the officer has a badge and that the warrant or court order request is signed. So right now, I am still, I gave it, for you to look into, if we want to make any changes, but right now it's still with Corporation Counsel.
Okay. And the homebound policy is also still with,
It's still with them. I mean, they've approved the majority, well, actually all of it, with the exception, there was nothing on the hold harmless. So a couple of nights ago, I just, sent them what we have for our volunteer policy, as far as holding harmless, not policy, but our volunteer form, and, just some, other samples. So as soon as they get back to me with the hold harmless, we should be all set. Did anyone have any suggestions, or are we okay with the policy as it is?
Fine.
yeah, it looked good.
And so the final area is I sent around what I'd like to propose for raises for our part-time staff who've not had raises since, I believe, 2012. So right now.
Did you send that down around in this packet?
Not in this packet. I sent it previously. if you want to wait, we can wait and discuss it next.
Budget's gonna be done.
Earl's saying no.
No, but when is it for?
She
Is
wants
it
to
for the-
discuss it now. We would like to give the raises now, but that would hinge on whether they approve the raises for the next fiscal year. So we'd ask for a special meeting. They would have to approve the raises for next year in order for us to give them now, because if we give them now and they don't approve them for next year, it makes no sense. So there's two different recommendations. So we have the recommended salary, which, would bring us up to standard and, we'd have competitive hourly rates. And then we have an adjusted one. So right now, the minimum wage is $16.35, and that's what our part-time shelvers are making. Our custodians and our part-time clerks are making $17. So, they're not much higher than the minimum wage. Our part-time library assistants are making $19 per hour, and our part-time librarians are making $26.29 per hour. The recommended would be to move the custodians and the clerks from $17 to $20, to move the part-time library assistants from 19 to 23, and to move the part-time librarians from 26 to 34, which is standard for our region. The adjusted, which we could do with this budget, would be basically to give the $2 raises. So, okay, so the part-time custodians and the part-time clerks would then go from 17 to 19. The part-time library assistant would go from 19 to 21, and the part-time librarians would go from $26.29 to $31. And the reason I bumped that up a little bit more is because we're at the lowest end for our librarians. Like, it's very low. So if we went with the adjusted recommended, we could pay for that out of this particular fiscal year. But again, it would depend on if we're approved for next fiscal year.
And when will you know that?
So Levon and I will meet with Michelle, our new accounts clerk. We're planning a meeting for next week, and then
Okay.
he'll go to finance,
Okay,
and then, we'll know. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so have we included the raises? Because we've been talking about it for like a couple of meetings, but like a couple of meetings ago, did we include the raises in the
We did
budget?
not, so that's gonna, we'll have a special meeting.
Okay.
So just looking back, like at COVID, and then, just when we were opening again, and as Alex pointed out, during when we
Sundays.
talked about budget last time, not just Sundays, but we had, a surplus that went somewhere. I know we can't go back and use that surplus, but it would be great, because what we're proposing, like, we want to hire a few more staff. And so what we're proposing still is pretty much bare minimum. So we tried to keep it pretty conservative, but they work very hard, and they haven't had raises since 2012. Yes, Patsy, I'm sorry. Did you
So,
want to acknowledge Patsy?
Yeah, can I ask a question? Yeah. So the surplus is because positions were frozen and we didn't hire, right?
Well, there
So-
were some issues with,
But that's where the surplus was generated from not being able to replace some people.
And then we were looking to hire part-time staff previously, but there's sometimes, holdups.
Well, that's my point. There was money in the budget, but it didn't get used because we didn't hire people. So what you're proposing is money that's left over. So the question is, in the next budget, are we going to be able to hire any of these replacements that that
That's the
were frozen?
discussion. Yep, well, they're not frozen. So, but
Well-
that's what we're putting on the table. So what we have is
Wasn't there a freeze across the board for the
at some
city?
point, there was.
It's not, it's gone now.
Don't
That's
have
not my,
the freeze anymore for full-time positions.
it's frozen for full time.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I think that needs to be clear for the board, you know. You know, obviously these people deserve it. It's complicated what's happening, and there are restraints, which I think everybody needs to be educated to.
But so they haven't approved the operating budgets yet. So we'll be able to hopefully put this in before
So as I mentioned, we have it, and there will be a special meeting.
okay.
Yes, it would be nice to pay people a living wage.
Yeah,
I agree.
Very much in support of it.
In Fairfield,
totally
Lower
agree.
Fairfield County. And I sent you all before, so you guys could see, like regionally, what what's being paid. And we're very, very low when it comes to the librarians. So here it is, and we'll hope for the best.
yeah.
Okay, any old business? New business? Okay, let's a motion to adjourn.
Well, so move.
Patsy moves.
Jane
Uh,
second.
Who Mary seconds or Laurel
Okay.
second?
Okay, whatever.
Mary seconds. Okay.
Whatever.
Okay, meeting's adjourned, and we'll see you over in the foundation meeting. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.